Hello, my name is Nani and welcome to my channel where I share with you my top tips on how to look good, feel good, and smell good from the inside out. In today's video, we're talking all about smelling good, and I want to share with you 5 fragrances that I don't think that any man should ever blind buy. And interestingly enough, these are all fragrances that I will never repurchase again for my husband. I'm just putting that out there. So of course, if you guys love talking about fragrances and you love smelling good, you love talking about products in general, make sure that you go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. And of course, make sure that you guys go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, before I jump right into this video, I just wanted to go ahead and preface it by saying we hit 1,000 subscribers, y'all. Like, thank you. I really appreciate all the love and your comments and just the requests for videos and just the engagement in the comment section. I really appreciate you guys. It's been a long time coming. You guys have no idea. I'll probably do a separate video just sharing with you guys how long I've been on YouTube and the struggles, the ups and downs and all of that. But I just wanted to just say thank you guys so much for each and every one of you who have recently subscribed to my channel or who have been subscribed to my channel for a long time. Those of you who, write me comments and like my videos and all of that, I really appreciate you guys so much. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. If I mention any of the fragrances that is a staple in your collection, please don't let your feelings get hurt, okay? This is just my thoughts and opinions, you guys. But yeah, so I want to go ahead and share with you guys, like I mentioned, 5 fragrances that I don't think that you should ever blind buy for different reasons. And I will make sure to mention that to you guys as well and just give you kind of like a brief description of what the scents smell like. I'm just going to go ahead and get the most popular one out of the way. It is what it is, don't judge me. But the first one is going to be Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. I know this fragrance is super hyped up and people love this scent. People hype this fragrance up. This is pretty much one of the best-selling fragrances pretty much in the world. And I honestly don't understand the reason and the purpose behind it, just because I feel like this is once it dries down, it's a very boring and basic scent. That's just my opinion. It's not as extravagant as people make it out to be. I do feel like there are probably scents in your collection that you already have that either smell better than this or will perform better than this as well. Now, again, like I mentioned, this is the Eau de Parfum, and when it comes to the scent, like I mentioned, there's something about this fragrance that I feel like it's fresh, it's woody, it's green, it's a little bit spicy, but I do feel like there's something that happens once you first spray it. It gives you more of like the fresh elements, but once it starts to dry down on your skin, there's just something about it that just smells kind of generic, smells a little bit synthetic. There's something that smells very kind of like incomplete about the scent or the notes, the combination of them. I don't really know how else to describe it, but there's something that happens once it first starts to dry down on your skin that just smells like an unfinished project, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to describe it, to be honest with you, but the longer that it lingers on your skin, and obviously once it fully dries down on your skin, it does kind of like turn into more of like a skin scent, in my opinion. The projection and sillage is really not that huge on this fragrance. It does sit pretty closely to the skin as it lingers on your body, and I do feel like it just smells very basic. Now granted, I do think that this would be probably a fragrance that a lot of people can consider as kind of like an everyday signature scent type of thing, but for all the hype around this fragrance, I feel like it's very basic and boring. That's just my opinion. And so the reason that I think that you should not blind buy this fragrance is that you might be disappointed once you get it, and you might, because I was, and also I feel like you might be kind of like romanticizing how this fragrance is actually going to smell, and it really just isn't that, just in my personal opinion. I don't think that it's the worst thing that I've ever smelled, but I think that it's basic, and I feel like there shouldn't be as much hype around this fragrance as there is. So again, that's going to be Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. The next fragrance that I want to mention to you is going to be this Dolce & Gabbana Intenso, and this is the Eau de Parfum as well. And when it comes to this fragrance, the reason that I'm saying that I think that you should test it out on your skin first is because I don't think that this is a mass appealing fragrance. I don't think that it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, to be honest with you. I like it. It's not really kind of like my favorite thing in my husband's collection, but I do feel like it's a nice scent, and I do feel like this is one of those scents that you can definitely dress up. I feel like this is one of those scents that every time I smell it, I think of a suit for whatever reason. I feel like if you dress it up very nicely, I feel like this would be a very kind of like intoxicating fragrance to put on. But at the same time, I don't think that this would be everyone's cup of tea. This has some very interesting notes in it. It's sweet, it's aromatic, it's a little bit woody, it's herbal. It has a lot of interesting elements to it. It has tobacco in this as well, but it has notes like, you know, sandalwood. It has notes like musk, so it does have a little bit of a musk the longer that it lingers on your body. But it also has things like hay, and it has cypress in it. So there's a lot of notes that are very heavy, very headache inducing notes, in my opinion, that I feel like would make a lot of guys steer away or steer clear from this scent. I don't think that this is a mass appealing fragrance at all, and I feel like you definitely need to test it out on your skin just to see if it is something that works with your body chemistry, and if it's something that you feel like you would actually get use out of. Again, this is not one of those scents that I feel like would be an everyday fragrance at all. This is definitely kind of like an occasion specific type of scent, and I feel like this would be a good nighttime scent during like the fall and winter seasons as well. Like I mentioned, it's very sweet, it's aromatic, it has a tobacco note in there, it's musky, but it does have kind of like a very heavy type of base. I don't think that a lot of people would like and enjoy that about this scent, but I do feel like it's smooth enough to where it's not necessarily headache inducing to me, but I do feel like a lot of people may, especially if you're sensitive to fragrance, I feel like a lot of people may not like this fragrance. So I would say definitely test it out just to see if it works with your body chemistry and if it's something that you think that you would actually wear, just because it isn't a mass appealing fragrance at all in my opinion. So again, that's going to be Dolce & Gabbana Intenso. Make sure that you guys test it out. Now the next fragrance that I want to mention to you is one that I feel like is just don't blind buy it. Just take my word for it. This is going to be the Bottega Veneta Pour Homme Extreme, and this is what the package looks like. This scent to me is definitely not a mass appealing fragrance at all. It's definitely one of those like season specific, time of the day specific type of scents. I feel like this is definitely one of those that needs to be pretty much winter seasons only, because it's a very bold, powerful, strong scent. And it's also one of those that I feel like would be better to wear at nighttime during the winter season. So you're not gonna really get much wear and use out of it. This is just in my opinion, just because this has a very strong patchouli note, and it also has a very strong fur as well as leather note. And I feel like the mix between all of them makes this a very unwearable scent in my opinion. It just doesn't smell good at all. It smells very kind of like dirty and musky, especially the longer that it lingers on your body. It's like you're hoping that it gets better, but I feel like the leather note is so strong in this scent that it just isn't smooth enough. It doesn't smell balanced. I feel like it just smells very dirty and musky and just not wearable at all. So this is definitely not one of those scents that I feel like you should blind buy at all. As I mentioned, if you wear it during the right seasons, then it may work, but it isn't one of those scents that I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like this isn't one of those scents that I'm impressed with at all, just because of the fact that, like I mentioned, it doesn't smell refined enough. It doesn't smell, and it isn't wearable enough. I feel like if you can only wear a fragrance during certain times of the day, or if you can only wear, you know, one season out of the year, then you don't really get your money's worth that way. It's a very bold and powerful scent. Like I mentioned, it's spicy, it's woody, it's balsamic. It has a lot going on, but it just isn't refined enough in my opinion. I do feel like it just was done poorly. That's just in my opinion. It just doesn't smell wearable, and it just doesn't smell attractive in any way in my opinion. This is definitely one of those scents that if you purchase it, I don't think that you should be like seeking compliments. I feel like you gotta wear this scent just because you like the scent, not because you're expecting for people to find you attractive, or for people to be kind of like intoxicated by your fragrance. It's bold, it's powerful, the projection is definitely there, the sillage is definitely there, and it is going to last on your skin for a long time. But I feel like for a scent like this, because of the fact that it's very unrefined in my opinion, and because of the fact that it smells kind of dirty in my opinion, there's something about it that smells like a dirty leather, like old, just like dusty, like it just doesn't smell right. You don't want to smell like that for a long period of time, but this is definitely going to give you longevity. So if we're going based on longevity and sillage, you'll get it out of the scent, but the smell itself is not impressive at all. It's not attractive at all, and I just don't feel like it's wearable at all. So again, that's going to be Bottega Veneta, and this is the P.O Extreme. This is another one that I would say test it out on your skin before you buy it. The next fragrance that I want to mention to you is kind of along the same lines, but they don't smell the same, but I feel like I don't like them for the same reasons, and I feel like it's one of those where you need to test it out on your skin just to make sure that it actually works with your body chemistry. And this one is by Lalique, and this is the Unquiet Noir à l'Extreme. And when it comes to this scent, this one is, y'all, this one, to me, I don't like the scent in general. And I feel like that's another reason why I'm mentioning, please try it out and test it out on your skin. But it just smells wrong, okay? It's woody, it's balsamic, it's a little bit sweet. There's a little bit of a sweetness to it. It is smoky. It smells a little bit like grass as well. Like, I don't know, just grass that hasn't been watered for a long time. Like, it just, there's something about this scent that just smells all wrong to me, and I feel like because of how bold and long-lasting this scent is and the way that it projects, you want to make sure that it actually is a scent that you enjoy. Not even necessarily because you want it to work with your body chemistry, but I feel like you need to make sure that this is a scent that you actually like the smell of before you purchase it. So definitely make sure that you get a sample of it, test it out on your skin to also make sure that it also works with your body chemistry. But as I mentioned, it's very woody, it's smoky, it smells a little bit like grass, like I mentioned before. So it's a little bit green, it's a little bit of an herbal scent as well. I would definitely recommend that you test this out on your skin before you purchase it, just because it is definitely not a mass appealing fragrance at all by any means, and it's definitely one of those fragrances that I feel like a lot of people may not like the scent in general, but it does project beautifully. Well, it gives you a huge projection, and it does have a huge sillage as well. And in terms of longevity, I would say that the longevity is moderate on it, but it's one of those things where you have to make sure that you like the scent to actually purchase the fragrance itself. So again, this is going to be Lalique's Unquiet Noir à l'Extreme. And this is the eau de parfum as well. And then the last one that I wanted to mention to you, I don't have the actual fragrance with me because I actually gave it away to one of you guys. And it is going to be the John Varvatos Dark Rebel fragrance. So I'll make sure to have a photo right next to me as well. And the reason that I'm mentioning this fragrance as well is not because it doesn't smell good, but I feel like it's too strong, too powerful. And it's also one of those fragrances that I feel like is more of like a season specific or like an occasion specific type of fragrance. That one is a little bit, it's basically like a smoky scent. Like I described that scent where it kind of smells like, you know, when you barbecue during like the 4th of July and then you basically open up the grill and all the smoke comes out, where it's like you get the sweet hickory from like the barbecue and all of that. It kind of smells like that to me. Like it smells very smoky. It has a sweet element to it. It smells like there is a little bit of a fruit, like maybe like a grape or something like that in there, but it's a very smoky scent. And to me, I feel like it isn't one of those fragrances that would work for in any type of like close encounters, and it isn't one of those fragrances that would work for like close quarters, like work or anything like that. I feel like it's definitely one of those outdoor scents. It has to be one of those like events type of fragrances, like an outdoor festival type of vibe. I just don't really like the fact that it's a very season specific or occasion specific scent, like I mentioned. And as I mentioned, it's a really smoky scent. It's very bold, very long lasting, but as I mentioned, it's a very occasion specific fragrance. And I feel like some people may not necessarily like how smoky it is. It's a nice scent, but as I mentioned, it's just, my husband was like, what the hell is this when I got it for him. So again, that's going to be the last fragrance that I wanted to mention to you that I feel like you should never blind buy as a man, that you should always test out on your skin first, just to make sure that you either like the scent, that it actually gives you the longevity that you're looking for, and it also is a fragrance that you will get a lot of use and wear out of, just because you don't want to waste your money, obviously. So those are going to be my final thoughts. Let me know down below what you guys think about the options that I've mentioned to you, if you guys have them, if you guys like them, if you guys agree with me or not. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and of course subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have an awesome day. God willing, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.